Hello, I'm ArchieLuxury. Welcome to the ArchieLuxury program. And today I'd like to do a bit of photography at the beach at night time. So this is a fantastic thing to try, fuckers. And I was down at the beach on trying to have a vacation. Didn't quite work out that way, but look, I went there about 6 o'clock, so this is just as the sun's starting to go down. And I gotta tell you, fuckers, I gotta tell you, it's kinda, you can get some amazing shots by playing with the shutter speed. And I gotta tell you, look, you've really got to use manual settings. Now, let's have a look what happens. If you put the camera into program mode, which is really the intellectual's auto mode, and the camera, and you try and take a shot, the camera will try and use an aperture about 5. It'll use a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second, and it will boost the ISO up to compensate. Now, the reality is there, as things get darker, we can play with having a longer exposure. And we can get some really nice shots here. We can get some really cool shots. And it's quite a cool experiment. Just see what you can get. Now, the only thing is, if you've got people in the photo, if they're moving, they'll kind of ghost out a little bit. So just be aware of that. You might have some ghosting happening because they're a moving sort of object. Same with the surf. The surf's coming in. It'll get a nice creamy, milky sort of effect there. So using a slow shutter speed can give you some really, really amazing shots. And I think myself there, it's really worth playing with slow shutters. And, you know, this is a fantastic thing in photography. So we've got to run the camera in manual mode, okay? That's that's rule number 1. We've got to get the camera running in manual mode because it'll try and manipulate the shot with ISO and other effects that we don't want to use. And I'd start using we've got to have a little bit of light, whether that's from the moon, the stars, a bit of on the beach we've got apartment units there which have got lights on. And I kind of liked using a shutter speed of 20 seconds. So you can play with longer ones. You sort of get a feeling for it. 30 seconds is quite okay. You get a, you know, now the thing is, you've got to use a tripod because you can't possibly hold the camera still for that long. And you've got to have, I would highly recommend either using the delayed photo where it's a timer where it'll take the photo in 5 seconds or 2 seconds, or more professionally, get a remote for your camera. And on the Nikon, it's about $30. There's some generic non-Nikon ones on eBay which work with the Nikon, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So I'd highly recommend doing this. Now, I'll tell you what I used here. These were the best shots, and I was using an aperture of 11, so that puts most things in focus. Shutter speed of about 30 seconds. The ISO I put down to 100. So f11, 30-second shutter speed, ISO 100, and I had some really cool results. So, fuckers, that could be a really cool way to go. I was using a 35mm lens, This is on a full frame camera, so a proper 35mm lens. And I got some really nice shots there. Again, as I say there, if people are in your photo, they'll sort of ghost a bit if they're moving. So sometimes you might want to take the shot where people aren't there. It's a bit hard to control people, particularly if you're taking beach or city shots at night. Night photography, but play around with it. And it's a wonderful thing. So F11, 30-second exposure, ISO 100, and get some wonderful shots. Slow shutter speed, that's the key to night photography. So let's just clarify. You need a tripod, you need a shutter, a remote shutter for activating the shots, and slow shutter speed. That's it gives you some really interesting results there. I'm ArchieLuxury. Tell me what you fuckers think of that. Nice one, Archie. Great photos.